Okay, so there's this mysterious object hurtling through our solar system. Now, most scientists are saying, hey, it's just a comet, no big deal. But there's this one Harvard astrophysicist who's sounding a pretty shocking alarm. He thinks it could actually be an alien spaceship. Yeah, you heard that right. And he's even given us a date to circle on our calendars, October 29th.
So, is a giant alien object really heading for Earth? I know, it sounds like something straight out of a movie, right? But a very prominent astronomer is saying, hold on, this is a real possibility. And he's not being vague about it either. He's given us a specific date to watch the skies.
And get this is a direct quote from the man himself, Professor Avi Loeb of Harvard University. People should take their vacations before October 29 and enjoy themselves. Wow. I mean, when a scientist with his kind of credentials says something like that, you can't help but sit up and listen. So, what on earth is he seeing that's got him so worried?
All right, let's dive into this. Let's really break down Professor Loeb's argument. This isn't just some wild guess he's throwing out there. No, his theory is built on some very specific and very strange observations of this object that's just entered our cosmic neighborhood.
So, the story starts back on July 1st. That's when we first spotted this thing. And while a lot of scientists just kind of shrugged and labeled it another interstellar comet passing through, Professor Loeb was like, not so fast. He argues that the way it's moving, its characteristics, it's just not behaving like any natural object we've ever seen.
And you guys, the sheer scale of this object is, well, it's staggering. We're talking about something as vast as the city of Manhattan, and it weighs an estimated 33 billion tons. On top of that, it's blazing through space at nearly twice the speed of any other interstellar object we've ever tracked. So just its size and speed alone make it a complete outlier, a real head-scratcher.
But here's where it gets really interesting. The biggest piece of evidence, what Professor Loeb calls the potential smoking gun, it's not the size, it's not the speed. It all comes down to what this thing seems to be made of.
Okay, so our telescopes have picked up something really weird. The object is spitting out nickel at a very precise rate, 4 grams every single second. Now, for a natural comet, that's just not something you'd expect to see. It's a huge red flag that needs an explanation.
And this is the absolute linchpin of his argument. The analysis suggests that this nickel emission is creating a compound called nickel tetracarbonyl. Now, according to Loeb's interpretation, finding this stuff in space is kind of like finding a modern-day smartphone buried in an ancient Egyptian tomb. It just doesn't belong. It's a signature of industrial manufacturing, something we've only ever seen made artificially right here on Earth.
So you put all that together, and you get to his final, very dramatic conclusion. Based on its insane speed, its massive size, and this chemical signature that screams artificial, Professor Loeb has put forward the idea that this isn't a comet at all. He thinks it might actually be an alien spacecraft.
Okay, but as you can probably guess, an extraordinary claim like that, it's going to get some major pushback from the rest of the scientific world. And it did. Not everyone is on board with the alien spaceship theory, not by a long shot.
And some of the responses were, well, pretty blunt. Chris Lintott, an astronomer over at Oxford University, he didn't pull any punches. He called the whole idea absurd nonsense, and basically said the data was being twisted to fit a sensational story.
So, this is where we stand. You've got two completely opposing camps. In one corner, you have Professor Loeb, who sees a potential alien craft with these really suspicious alloys that, hey, might even be a threat. And in the other corner, you have the mainstream view, which is, look, it's a natural, yeah, a little weird, but totally natural comet, and it's absolutely no danger to us.
And of course, the official authorities had to weigh in on this. NASA put out an official statement to try and calm everyone down, stating very clearly that the object poses zero threat to Earth. They say it's just going to pass safely through our solar system and keep right on going.
So, where does that leave us? Comet or spaceship? How do we even make sense of this? You know, the real story here isn't necessarily about finding the final answer right now. It's about getting a front row seat to this fascinating, messy process of scientific debate when we're faced with something we just don't understand.
When you boil it all down, the heart of this whole disagreement is interpretation. One side looks at the anomalies, the speed, that weird nickel signature, and sees suspicious signs pointing to alien tech. The other side looks at the exact same data and sees an interesting but natural object that's just teaching us something new about the universe. It's really a classic showdown. An extraordinary claim versus the conventional scientific explanation.
And that leaves us with one heck of a question, doesn't it? Is this just a fringe theory born from some ambiguous data, or is it a genuine warning from a really smart scientist that maybe, just maybe, we should be taking seriously? For now, the debate rages on, and it's a powerful reminder of just how much we still have to learn about our universe.